everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest mysteries in science and philosophy: consciousness. Consciousness is our awareness of ourselves and the world around us. It's what makes us feel alive, self-aware, and capable of experiencing emotions and thoughts. But while consciousness feels completely familiar to each of us, scientists still struggle to fully understand what it is and how it works. In this episode, we'll explore what consciousness is, theories on how it arises, and some of the latest research trying to unravel this profound mystery. Ready to dive into the science of self-awareness? Let's get started. First, let's try to define consciousness. In its simplest form, consciousness is our subjective experience of being aware and having thoughts, sensations, and emotions. It's what makes us feel like an eye looking out at the world, capable of reflecting on ourselves and our surroundings. But consciousness isn't just about being awake. It includes the entire range of human experiences: our perceptions, memories, sense of identity, and even the ability to dream and imagine. Consciousness is at the core of who we are, yet trying to explain it scientifically is surprisingly difficult. The study of consciousness bridges several fields, including neuroscience, psychology, and philosophy. Scientists want to understand not only what consciousness is, but also how and why it arises in the brain. One of the biggest challenges in understanding consciousness is known as the hard problem of consciousness. This term was coined by philosopher David Chalmers, who pointed out that while scientists can study the brain and understand how it processes information, it's much harder to explain why certain brain processes create subjective experiences. In other words, the hard problem asks, why do electrical signals in the brain create feelings, thoughts, and experiences? How does physical matter, the cells and neurons in our brain, give rise to something as intangible as consciousness? Most scientific studies focus on the easy problems of consciousness, like understanding how vision or memory works. But the hard problem remains. Why does any of this produce awareness? It's a question that has left scientists and philosophers scratching their heads for centuries. While the hard problem is still unsolved, scientists have made significant progress in understanding how consciousness arises in the brain. Consciousness seems to be linked to specific brain networks that process information and coordinate activity across different regions. One leading theory is that consciousness is generated by the Integrated Information Theory, IIT, which suggests that consciousness arises when information is highly interconnected and integrated across different areas of the brain. This means that the more a brain is able to share and combine information between regions, the more conscious it is. Another theory is global workspace theory, which proposes that consciousness is like a workspace where information from various brain areas is gathered, broadcast, and made available for processing. According to GWT, consciousness is the result of certain information being spotlighted in the brain, allowing it to be used in a wide variety of cognitive functions. Both theories point to consciousness as something that emerges when different parts of the brain communicate and work together. But we're still far from fully understanding how this network of neurons gives rise to the richness of conscious experience. Different regions in the brain contribute to different aspects of consciousness. One key area is the cerebral cortex, the outer layer of the brain responsible for higher cognitive functions like thought, perception, and language. The cortex is densely packed with neurons that interact in complex ways, making it central to conscious processing. The thalamus, located deep within the brain, is another crucial player. It acts like a relay station, directing sensory information to the right parts of the cortex. Without the thalamus, sensory information would be scattered, and our conscious experience would likely be much less cohesive. Interestingly, studies have shown that certain brainwave patterns are associated with different states of consciousness. For example, alpha waves are linked to relaxed wakefulness, while gamma waves are often present during focused attention or intense concentration. By studying these brain waves, scientists can learn more about how the brain transitions between conscious states. Consciousness isn't a fixed state. It changes throughout the day and under different conditions. From sleeping and dreaming to meditative states and drug-induced experiences, altered states of consciousness offer insights into the flexibility and complexity of our minds. When we sleep, for instance, our consciousness fades and transforms as we move through different sleep stages. During REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, the brain becomes highly active, and we experience vivid dreams. Interestingly, Studies show that during REM sleep, some of the same brain regions active in waking consciousness are also active, which might explain why dreams feel so real. Meditation is another altered state of consciousness that can produce unique experiences. Practiced meditators often describe a sense of deep awareness and heightened perception, and brain scans show that meditation can change activity in areas of the brain linked to self-awareness and emotional processing. Then there are psychedelic experiences, which some researchers believe could provide clues to the nature of consciousness. Psychedelics like psilocybin and LSD seem to disrupt normal brain activity, increasing connectivity between different brain regions and leading to altered perceptions and thoughts. Studying these states could help us understand the boundaries and mechanisms of consciousness. Is consciousness unique to humans, or do animals experience it too? While it's challenging to measure consciousness in animals, scientists have gathered evidence suggesting that some animals may be conscious. For example, primates, dolphins, elephants, and even certain birds display behaviors that suggest self-awareness, problem-solving, and empathy, qualities we associate with consciousness. Experiments like the mirror test, where animals recognize themselves in a mirror, hint at a level of self-awareness. Scientists are also studying consciousness in simpler creatures, like bees and octopuses. While they don't have brains like ours, their complex behaviors suggest that consciousness could exist in various forms across different species. This research raises intriguing questions about the diversity of conscious experiences in the animal kingdom. As AI technology advances, we're also faced with the question, could machines ever become conscious? While today's AI systems can process data, learn patterns, and even mimic human conversation, they don't have subjective experiences or self-awareness. Some researchers believe that if we develop AI that can integrate information in the same way our brains do, it might eventually achieve some form of consciousness. Others argue that consciousness requires biological processes that machines can't replicate. Whether AI could ever become conscious is an open question, and one with big ethical and philosophical implications. Imagine a future where a robot claims to be conscious. How would we know if it's telling the truth? It's a question that challenges our understanding of what consciousness truly is and whether it's limited to biological beings. You might wonder why scientists are so focused on understanding consciousness. Well, consciousness is at the heart of many big questions. What does it mean to be alive? How do we experience love, joy, pain, or loss? Understanding consciousness could help us answer these fundamental questions about the human experience. Consciousness research also has practical applications. For example, it could lead to better treatments for mental health disorders, some of which may involve disruptions in consciousness. It could improve treatments for coma patients, help us understand brain injuries, and even guide ethical decisions as we develop AI and animal welfare policies. Ultimately, exploring consciousness is about understanding ourselves. It's a journey to discover how we connect with the world and what it means to truly be aware. So, are we any closer to solving the mystery of consciousness? In some ways, yes. We've learned a lot about how the brain processes information and creates subjective experience. But in other ways, we're still scratching the surface. Consciousness remains one of science's greatest challenges, blending the known with the unknown. The search for answers may lead us to new frontiers in science, technology, and philosophy. For now, consciousness remains an incredible mystery, a journey we're only just beginning to understand. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who loves exploring the mysteries of the mind. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning the world around you.